However you want to do it, man. Try it one way, and if it doesn't work, do it next time.
Right, for real though. Oh man, people should be able to hear us, and they just see the image. There's nobody here yet, but shout out to whoever might be watching.
Yeah, man. It's like we're doing it live.
Yeah, figuring it out. Yeah. Oh man. All right. It's a little bit of a delay, but I think we'll be all right. I like it.
Yep.
Gonna be doing this EXU. Oh yeah, yep. That makes sense. The beat doubled up, but it's cool. We can just get started. Swip. Yo. Comicbook Bob in the building. Say hello to the people.
What's up?
Yo, we today we got a little special thing going on here, right? Just wanted to try something new. Oh shit.
Johnny Cage.
We just wanted to try something new, you know. Get a little Critical Role love. Me being a brand new fan of Dungeons and Dragons, I've kind of been like hyper focused on it for like a year now. And fucking Critical Role is like the biggest name in Dungeons and Dragons like content. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, by far.
Easy, right? Like,
yeah, dude. I mean, seriously, man, like, there's like maybe one or two others that are like I can think of off the top of my head, but there's a bunch of them. But yeah, they're basically the 500-pound gorilla. So
yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. Like I recently saw something. Acquisitions Incorporated. I thought they was just a source book. Apparently, they are a completely hilarious show. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like,
and then you've got was it Joe Manganiello's game?
Yeah,
he does like every like couple of months.
Celebrity D&D or whatever it's called.
Celebrity
Was that
D&D,
the one?
yeah.
Or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Joe,
that's he's got a crazy number of people who play that game, dude. It's ridiculous.
Real friends.
Yeah. He got Deborah Wall into it. She's done a couple of live. Yeah, she did a couple live streams and a couple of convention shows and stuff like that. So, but all of it kind of comes back to Critical Role.
I like it. And being new to the game, like, you know, obviously I stumbled upon Critical Role. I started playing before I actually started watching, so it's like I wasn't like one of those people who watched it was like, oh, this looks interesting, and then started playing. I started playing, and people were like, you need to watch Critical Role, and I was like, I'm good. I'll just play. I was wrong.
Yeah. Dude, man, like I think that's the way it was with everybody. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons, the role playing game, since I was like 14, back in like the late 80s, early 90s. And then I was like Critical Role, and I was like, yeah, okay. I know how to play Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome.
For real though, like, it's really, really dope. And I appreciate it. But I appreciate you coming on here doing this show with me, man. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I was like, ooh, I got an idea. I know who likes to talk about Critical Role, and the only time we ever get to talk about it is when we're like together gaming, doing something else, and it just kind of fucks up because they're doing like what was it? We was trying to set up another TTRPG, and then we're like, but we want to talk about EXU. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do a show.
Yeah.
Let's do a show. Critical Convos. Hopefully they don't come at me over the logo. I definitely stole the idea, guys. It's called homage. It's the point of it. You feel what I'm saying?
It looks awesome, man. I thought you did a great job.
I thought so. Thank you.
But did you pick up the actual books?
Which ones? What do you mean?
The Critical Role D&D books.
No, the source books?
Yeah.
No. I did not pick those. I might buy one on D&D Beyond though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I think D&D Beyond right now is like 20% off.
Yeah. I might go look at it. Shout out to D&D Beyond for holding it down. Maybe one day we'll have a sponsor for that.
Yeah. But yeah, I picked them up, and then I picked them up because of the world that they built, because Matt built an amazing world.
It's so cool, bro.
It is an amazing
so the world is called Teldore, right?
Yep.
And then one of the continents is Wild Mount, and the other continent is Exandria.
Yep.
And there could be another continent.
There's on the other side of on the map. There's it's like a lost continent. So
yeah, I bet. Yeah, real convenient. We coming up on campaign 3. There happens to be a lost continent that's October. Out there.
Yep. So
let's see what happens, man.
Yeah, but he's got and I think they just they announced that they're redoing the Exandria book, which was the first one that came out.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
they definitely did. Yep.
Exandria Reforged or something like that. So, but
yep.
But this is the like, to let anybody know who hasn't been following it. Exandria Unlimited was a limited series. It was 8 episodes set in the Taldori world, but it wasn't Matt running the game. It was somebody new, a completely new GM, and it's a really cool idea. I like it.
Yeah, me too, man. And she did a great fucking job. Like a really, really good job. And that's what we're here to do, fam. We're here to talk about our experience watching Exandria Unlimited. Me being a kind of a newbie to the thing, I banged out the first 2 campaigns. Like there was, oh man, during the pandemic too, it was crazy. And I definitely did not retain a lot of the stuff, and I absolutely retained more from campaign 2 than I did campaign 1, even though I watched them out of order, right? But Exandria Unlimited is the only thing that I got to see start to finish as it was coming out. So like I was in there experiencing it with everybody else at the same time. So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to jump in here and start talking about what they've got going on, man. And Bob is the only other guy out here who fucks with it as hard as I do. You know what I'm saying? So
it was cool. And like I said, like I was kind of like you when I first started watching. I actually started watching with campaign 2. But I got to watch campaign 2 from the beginning. And there's something cool. There's something cool about that. And about halfway through campaign 2, I started watching campaign 1. So, and like you said, though, there's something cool about just being able to watch it in real time. And you actually, and you do kind of retain more as you're watching it in real time.
Yeah, you do. Like, you have more time to think about it.
Yeah. But like you, man, like when I started going back through and watching campaign 1, I was just consuming that at like a record pace, because I would just put it on at work and just listen to it.
Yeah. It was hard for me at first, man. I've started at episode 1, which I think was like, I don't know, really episode, I don't know how many sessions they had before then, but like they were on like level 9 already or whatever.
Yeah, they've been playing for like 2 years.
And I was like, Jesus Christ. I started episode 1 and I was like, the sound quality. I mean, it was 5-6 years ago now.
Yeah, it was sound pretty bad.
So it was like, I was like, and then it was just a room full of people. They're all touching stuff on their desks. It's all kinds of, I was like, So I just skipped that. Like you kept telling me, skip it, episode 28 or whatever, and then move on and then watch from there. And it was better, and it had just kept getting better and better and better. Now it's like it's just an incredible production. Yeah. And I love it. But we're here to talk about Exandria Unlimited, so we should talk about that. Starting at the top, I guess. Like, do you remember much from the beginning how we like opened up? Because we opened up. The premise for this story I thought was so dope. And it was perfect for like a short-term story. But when they even surprised me along the way, because I thought they were going to stay around like in that city, handle some things there, and then move on. So the direction they took was crazy. But when they opened up, it was everybody was just like waking up or something. They couldn't
coming
remember.
Off a bender. Yeah, they were coming off. Off a bender. Yeah.
But they woke up hungover, headaches, drunk, passed out on roofs, passed out like all over the place. No one knows where anybody is. Yo, it was so hilarious, bro.
Yeah, and so we'll go through the characters real quick. I think in the order that they kind of woke up. If I remember correctly, Matt's character was Dariax Xavion was the first one to wake up. Matt
definitely had the biggest like wake up moment.
Yeah,
he absolutely bonkers.
But and we got to see just how great of a friggin' player man is. We know he's a great GM, but this let him like really stretch his player, and he's actually played. This character is the character he has played the most in all of the games that they've played. He's playing Dariax Xavion. We'll get into his name in a minute. Dwarven Sorcerer, which is a combination that just doesn't normally happen.
Oh,
and
I already know that
freaking hilarious.
The min-maxers, I know that the min-maxers were like out of their mind as soon as they heard that combination. It was like, but guys, you got to remember.
And he admitted, he was like, dude, he's like, I really did, I kind of min-maxed him a little bit, but the way he played him was so awesome. Yeah. Because, and we'll get into like some of his gameplay stuff in a minute, but Yeah, hands down my favorite character of the entire series.
Roleplay, all roleplay, fucking 100%. Amazing, just top notch role playing. He's so good at it, and I think it's because he sits behind that screen. He sits behind that DM screen so often, and he creates all of these different characters to really get the opportunity to really hone in and focus on one. I think he definitely he knew that it was his time to shine, and he fucking shone.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I think the next one that woke up was Ashley Johnson's character Fern. She's playing a druid satyr. She seemed like she was going to be really important. Her storyline is probably going to be important to one of the next campaigns that they do. But she was playing a satyr druid. Next one that woke up, I think, was Opal. Then another one of my favorite characters, played by Amy Carrero. She's a human hexblade warlock. She ends up being really important, especially to this campaign. Next one to wake up was I believe it was Liam's character Orm of the Airshari.
I loved Opal. Before you keep going, I loved Opal. I didn't really, I don't know, we'll talk about it later, of course, but I was like a little bit uncomfortable with the new character being the center of attention in that way.
Yeah, I think she was too.
Yeah, definitely. But we'll get into it more later. So yeah.
Again, good role play from her. Next character was Leon Brim's character, Orm of the Urshari. We agreed he was a halfling fighter. We both agreed that he was kind of deliberately mundane.
Yeah,
because I think Liam wanted all the other players to shine. Yeah,
he definitely played the back
the support role.
Right, backup and shit like that, and he was still good, and he felt the most connected to stuff that we had seen already. He felt, because there's speculation that maybe he obviously knew who Keyleth was, right? He knows who that person is. Yeah. But there was speculation that he was like related to her in some way, not like descended or anything like that, but like he may have crossed paths with her on more than one occasion. You know, there was some speculation like that. So
and then the way he talked, he never he only mentioned her, I think, by name once.
Right.
And the way he talked about her was like, basically he was just like a guard who occasionally was around her.
Right.
But she had this massive effect on him, which was really cool. And I hope they explore that. I really do hope they explore that later. But
I like that from a storytelling perspective, like where this big name, this huge character so integral to the story, right? Like that first campaign story just has a passing moment with this character who we now get to see that story be told. We now get to see how her influence affected him and his life and his trajectory. You feel what I'm saying? And I thought that's just such a dope way. It's such a powerful world building tool. You know what I'm saying?
And the fact that this world just is continuous, like the effects that happened in campaign 1, there were some effects of that in campaign 2. And then again, this Exandria takes place 10 years after campaign 2. Those effects are still felt in this campaign. And so when you're doing something like what they're doing, where the world is so important, having those connections like that, even tertiary like that, they're really, really important. And it's all about immersion.
It helps. Yeah, exactly. It helps with the immersion. It's one of my favorite things about D&D is like player agency and consequences. And this is that to the nth degree. You know what I'm saying? It's like, now we're spanning across campaigns, different GMs, different like character, like completely different areas of the world. I just really completely separate stories, but they're all connected in some way.
Yeah. And even like the setting where they wake up in the district of Iman that was destroyed by the Cinder King.
Right.
From campaign 1. They literally break up and they call it the scar.
Thordak.
Yeah.
Thordak. The greatest, most boring fight I've ever seen.
That fight took for freaking ever, man.
But it was also so dope.
Yeah. Because it was so important. And the fact that like you knew that they could just die. So
right. At any moment. Loved it.
But really cool. It was just such a cool callback because they were in the district, what was once known as the Cloud District. Now they called it the Scar, the Cinder King.
Right.
because that's where the fight took place, and like the devastation there, even 30 years later, it's still evident there. So
they're still trying to fix it. They're still rebuilding from it, and it's rife for the story thread that I thought they were going to explore, but completely fell to the wayside with the criminal syndicate. I forgot what they were called, but Pashka's criminal syndicate, because they weren't the Myriad, they weren't the
nameless
class,
ones.
But they were the nameless one. Oh, such a dope, such an incredible. Like, and I thought that's what the story was going to be.
Yeah,
but then they ended up going to do something completely different. Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
I thought the focus was going to be on Posca, the Nameless Ones, and the Circlet. The Circlet does come, and like I said, we'll talk about that more as we get to the end of it. The Circlet does kind of come back around.
Not really come back around. It was a main feature throughout the whole, but the story wasn't connected to it. The story wasn't about saying we have to do something with this circlet. The story was more like this circlet is doing something to us. Mm-hmm. I liked it, bro. Yeah. I liked that a lot.
And that's why I liked Robbie's character. Dorian was like, because in the end, it ends up affecting Opal the most. But up until that point, he's the one that was affected by it the most, because he's the one that she kept talking to. But we'll get into that a little more. But and then of course, I'm gonna butcher the hell out of her name. Abrea Iyengar was the guest GM for this, and you said,
that was good. Abrea Iyengar
is a see Liam says Abrea, and Liam says Abrea, and then Matt says Abrea. And it's like one of those things. It's like which one's right, but
you can't. You're never gonna know.
Yeah, and then in episode 4, I think is when Theodore shows up.
No.
Jolly
was it 4? No, that was like 3. It was pretty. She was.
No, I think it was by the road, right?
I don't remember. With the glitter shitter.
Jeez, God damn it. 20 minutes talking about a freaking wagon that shits glitter. I mean, my God, man.
That's D&D, bro. Peak.
That's
peak
critical.
Dungeons and Dragons.
That's critical role D&D right there.
That's true. That's true.
It's the same mentality that they spent two entire episodes talking about a freaking chair.
I loved it, man. You know what I love? That's another thing that I loved about this, like the element of chaos about this play group. And we'll get back into like the story stuff in a second. But the element of chaos, because you immediately sense it after everybody wakes up. Dariax is woken up on a roof, like hanging off of the side, his spear in the gutter in the ground, down 2 stories. Yeah, right. Covered in idea. Yo, covered in piss. Covered in piss.
And the entire first hour is basically them trying to figure out how his spear got covered in piss.
Bro. It's so much fun. So it like reminded me of the Knot, Jester, and Bow combos from early C2. You know what I'm saying? From early Mighty 9. Yeah. Like the Chaos crew, when they would get together and get into some like that was the most fun about those. And and this whole squad was that for the most part, except for Oren. And Oren was like, well, I mean, if this is what you want to do, then let's do it. So he wasn't even like trying to slow them down or anything. The whole squad was just chaos. I loved it, man.
Yeah, and that's like I said, like Liam's entire character here was just meant to prop up everybody else. And I think he did a great job of it. He just let them run the show.
I love it.
And it was awesome. And that's kind of the way you need to do with what you need to do with new players. Is you just kind of let them. You got to kind of be lenient with them.
Yeah. You gotta let them find out. You gotta let them go ahead and make decisions. Make them feel comfortable to do stuff. And he did a great job of doing that.
So basically they all in episode 1 they all wake up after their bender. We get introduced to everybody.
They tell us that they don't remember the last week.
The last week is gone. Yeah.
The week, 7 days is gone. They don't remember it. And they're all in the city where they think they were before, but they weren't. Yeah, it was nuts.
And then of course Matt shows us just how awesome a player he is with Dariax, just like basically asking everybody if they took a piss on his spear.
That was so funny. It was so incredibly funny.
Yeah, they slowly remember waking up as a group on the road outside of Yaman. Mm-hmm. And they made friends with a guy who let them stay at his house, and they I can't remember what I can't remember why they left. They went out to look around the town, and and that's when they found that they were in Thordex Crater, and see the footprints leading out where the Cinder King, where the scar of the Cinder King was, and Liam's character talks about he was supposed to take a message to the Fire Ashari,
right?
And as they go back is when they run. As they go back to the townhouse, is when they run into Posca,
which was the coolest like character design introduction. I loved Posca from the moment she showed up. It was incredible. Or I should say.
Yeah, she does a really good job. That's one of the things that Abrea does really well. She does a really good job of describing things,
setting up the scene, setting up the character, giving us a feel for them even before they've done anything. She does a great job.
She describes her hair, the style of her hair. And one of the coolest things was the armor, the red leather armor that all the members of the nameless ones, they all have that signature armor. And she even talks about how the way it creaks and the noise that it makes.
Yeah. It puts you right in there. You feel like they're right next to you going to kill you. You feel like.
But they catch her trying to break into the townhouse, and then she talks about how the rich people are basically forcing out because the Cloud Top district was destroyed. They're all moving into this area, and how they're forcing all the poor people out. They're basically buying up all the property, and she's trying to kind of like basically she claims that she's Robin Hood, kind of like a Robin Hood. She's taking from the rich to give to the poor. We find out later that that's bullshit, but they catch her in the process, and and she just completely, and you would think like they caught this person, and now this person is going to be like, oh, well, tell me, I'll help you out. I'll do anything you want. Just don't turn me in. She completely flips the tables on them.
So incredible.
And she's like, no, good. You don't understand. You guys are in trouble with me now. Because the nameless ones have replaced in the
Myriad and the
Myriad and the Clasp. The Myriad and the Clasp. Yeah, the Myriad and the Clasp were basically the two big criminal organizations in Iman, and in Exandria. And what has happened since the battle with the Cinder King and the battle with Vecna is those two organizations were basically destroyed. They splintered, and a new organization came up and took their place, which was the Nameless Ones. Posca is the leader of the Nameless Ones.
At least in Iman.
Yeah,
she was very like focused on this is my city.
Yeah.
Now, is this the birthplace of the Nameless Ones? I don't really remember if that's what they said, but it definitely felt like that. I definitely got that energy from.
Yeah, she said the Nameless Ones are basically all of the what was left over of the Myriad and the Clasp became the Nameless Ones.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the big battle where the Myriad and the Clasp basically came to blows in Iman, and they destroyed each other. Up. Yeah.
And Critical Vox Machina had a hand in fucking up a lot of it.
Yeah. they messed their shit up a lot. But and then she basically she kind of corners them, and they make a deal with her to protect their benefactors, the Cirrus, what are the name?
Whoever they were, whoever owned the house that they were staying in, the inn or whatever.
Yeah. And she says, "Okay, I'll take these people out, but you need to do a job for me." She wanted them to steal something for her. Yeah. Basically, it was kind of like what they did. It's kind of interesting because she does these little things that are kind of callbacks to things that happened in the past. When Vax joined the Clasp, they kind of made him do something like this too. Like, you need to go.
They had to go and steal something.
Yeah, you need to do something for us. And originally what they wanted him to do, they wanted him to kill somebody, and he refused.
But then
he went
in. I remember that line because he went into the place. They went into the place, and then they made a deal with him or whatever.
Right.
I can't remember the specifics of it, but they made a deal, and then it was like a trick, and then they hate him and blah blah blah, and then he got away or whatever. But it's a very similar, and that's the thing with like criminal organizations. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you do something for me, I do something for you. Nothing's for free. But ultimately, what they end up doing is they go to the fucking boat to steal the circlet which ends up being, and you can tell me more about this because this is like the MacGuffin of the whole, or at least I thought it was, but it was kind of just another chaotic element, which makes sense because the only people who could touch it were chaotic neutrals. So it's like it's just this chaotic element of the story that they go and retrieve from a boat that the team steals, and then they're supposed to deliver it back to Pasca.
Yeah.
But instead they find some residuum, some white stone or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, what happens is she tells them to go steal something from a ship. What they do is they go and they steal from an Assyrian ship called the Blight Star. Ends up they steal something that was already hers. So they go.
Well, no, they were supposed to drop it off at the warehouse.
The warehouse, right, the warehouse.
Yeah,
Well,
she
thinks it's hers.
Yeah.
But she knew what it was. That's why she sent them there to take it.
Right.
So they go to the ship and they find a box, and inside the box they find an onyx circlet that's shaped like a crown of thorns.
So dope. Such dope imagery the way she describes it, and then fucking Dorian touches it and immediately vomits
and immediately gets sick. And when Orm kicks when Orm kicks the crate shut, he starts to feel sick too.
Yep.
But
great stuff.
So they realize this thing is dangerous, and and the way she describes the carnage on the ship.
Yeah.
Because basically everybody on the ship's been murdered.
It was disgusting. There were bodies hanging on hooks and blood just dripping into and they were on below decks, and there was no light. So it was just like darkness. They had a little bit of light that someone would shine every once in a while, and it was just blood all over the floor, like dripping, and bodies hanging and all kinds of, and then there's a giant like insect monster inside a cage that's trying to chew to get out.
Yeah, it's an giant. There's like a giant odd king. It's like a cross between like a cockroach and a praying mantis.
Bro,
it's massive.
Bonkers.
But it was
the roach from Men in Black.
Yeah, and then they found a baby one.
Right, back at the warehouse.
Yeah,
there was like an egg or whatever, and or was a baby. It was a larvae. Yeah, so it was a baby one. It was already born, and I can't remember what they did with it, but they were like, "Oh, it's so cute. We should take it."
I think they just left it. But anyway,
they took some residuum and they took the circlet and they got the hell out of there.
They took the first they took the circlet back to the warehouse, and then they were looking in the warehouse and they found this massive stockpile of residuum. And if residuum is a big deal in the world of Exandria. It's basically
it's magic.
Yeah, it only comes from one place. It comes from Whitestone, where it's mined, which is Percival de Rollo's kingdom.
Right. Percival Fredericks von Musel.
The third, yeah. Dude, I love friggin' Taliesin. And Orm recognizes this stuff because he's seen it a few times because of the relationship that Keyleth has with Whitestone. And they realize that this stuff is kind of like it can be used to make magic items. It can be used to enhance magic, and it can be used as a replacement for any kind of magical component.
It's such a miraculous
it's like a WMD.
They used, and we'll talk about it if we do the campaign 1 and campaign 2 kind of breakdown stuff. They used residuum to reform a legendary sword for Ford in the in campaign 2, the Mighty Nine, in the fucking World Forge or whatever that was.
Another vestige. The Star Razor. Yeah.
Yo.
And they also in campaign 1, they made massive amounts of residuum and turned it into that residuum glass in the pyramid, which is how Vecna came back.
That's facts.
This stuff is like
fucked up.
Yeah, basically this stuff is used to do crazy level magic stuff. And they realize
that stones. It's powdered infinity stones.
Yeah. And they realize that this stuff is going to be used to basically start a war.
Right.
And so they steal some of it.
They're not good with it. And they take the circlet and they fucking bounce.
Yep.
and Pasca is not happy about it. But I don't want to spend so much time running through the whole like each episode's.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's just the setup for the campaign. That's what that is. And it's important that you understand that, folks, moving forward, because the rest of the shit that happens is is all of the things. It's hilarious, it's engaging, it's frightening. Like there are moments, there's a lot of mystery. There's so much intrigue in this shit. Like with the what is the story? What's really going on? What can't they remember? You know, who are these people? Who is a friend? Who is a foe? Why is there a fern and a dark fern in the woods fighting each other? Like it was such a there's so many like wild, fantastical things happening in it that I was completely blown away the whole time.
And I also like how she ends every episode with kind of like a cut scene to basically the consequences of their decisions.
Yeah.
Because at the end of that,
the post credits.
Yeah, because at the end of the first episode, the deal, because they broke the deal, she burns down the guy's house.
The house. Man. I
so
loved it, bro.
There's consequences to their decisions.
And they ran away. They ran to, I think they were going to meet was it the fire shari that they were going to meet? They went, I think they went to the fire shari, and that's where they find the fucking cliff with the ash hole on it.
Yeah, they went to the ash hole.
Hours of fun. Just hours of hilarity.
Yeah. But they leave and they take the residuum and the circlet to the fire shari, but all along the way they have a big argument about what to do with the circlet because it starts talking to them. And that's when a lot of really cool character stuff starts happening with Robbie. And
who is in the circlet? Who is because I don't know, because they started talking about it. I don't remember when they exactly revealed it, but we got hints of it with the spiders in the boat.
Yeah,
I believe it was in the boat.
It was in the boat. And in the second episode, it was also Opal has the dream. With the spider, and then the giant spider leg that slams down. And she's the one, I think she's the first one who hears the Spider Queen's voice. So the Spider Queen, aka Loth, is one of the
that?
Loth is one of the betrayer gods. She was the she's basically the creator of the Dark Elves.
Yep.
She was once the wife of the main god for all the elves is Coralon, the Changebringer. And she basically betrayed him. Because of that, the Dark Elves, who were her servants, became cursed. Eventually, they did break away from her. So the Dark Elves are no longer evil necessarily. Some of them are, some of them aren't. No, that's
the drow.
Right, the drow.
And so she's the reason why there are drow spiders. In the D&D
dryads, and stuff like that. She resided in the Underdark. The Underdark was basically, her kingdom. And she was one of the betrayer gods, and like all the betrayer gods, she was basically banished and locked away.
Right. And so then the circlet is her vestige and her tie back to the material plane or whatever.
Yeah, basically there was a big war, and to empower their servants, the gods created these powerful weapons and objects called vestiges of divergence. Happened during divergence. And this is hers. If you watch campaign 1, there's a ton of vestiges.
Oh, they all get one. They all get everybody gets several. Vestige for you, vestige for you, vestige for you. Oh, you want to use Mythcarver? You're never going to use it, but here you can have it.
They have like each one of them had like 3. So it's crazy.
It was nuts. It was nuts.
But they kind of needed, but with that storyline, because that was like an epic storyline, they needed them because at the end of it, they basically fight a god. But that's how powerful these things are. They're god weapons basically, and that's why in campaign 2 there was only one.
Was it? No, because wait, no, that's not a vestige. No. I'm thinking of Yasha's sword, the paladin sword.
That's that's
not a vestige. That's just a legendary weapon.
That's a legendary weapon. It's the holy, not the holy defender.
Holy Avenger.
Holy Avenger.
Yep.
But but like vestiges are even more powerful than those. So that's
clearly.
But just look at the stats for Ford's sword. You'll realize what we're talking about. But this
Star Razor was nuts.
But in the first campaign, they were all vestiges of good gods. But as we find out, there are vestiges for the betrayer gods as well, and this is one of them.
I love it. Ooh,
and I love.
It feels so big.
I love how when Gilmore is describing it, he's telling them that it's just power. But as the game goes on, you realize, no, it's not. Yeah. She can influence you through this thing. It's basically, he misinterprets, he is right. Like, it is power and it depends on the will of the user and everything. Right. But she 100% is influencing people through this thing.
Yo, she changed. So Dorian gets sick, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The first time he comes in contact with it, vomits, Orm, we see him get sick. And then later, Dorian makes these decisions that for me on the outside, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I understand why you made that decision. But it kind of goes against, the good moral.
Who he is.
Yeah. So then because of that decision, he changes.
His alignment changes, yeah.
And now, right, you feel what I'm saying? His alignment changes. Alignment is a very important thing in D&D, guys. Not so much in 5e, and I'm glad that they kind of, especially with, but regardless, it's a thing. And the way they use it as a storytelling element in this campaign, fucking amazing, fam, because he gets soured. He goes bad a little bit. Now he can touch the vestige and hold on to it and not have a problem. So much so that he requests it from Dariax and is chilling with it. And it really looked like he was gonna think about putting it on. He was gonna have a conversation with the Spider Queen. Who is she?
Spider Queen Loaf.
So much so that Orm is like, fam, go ahead and hand that back, or I'm gonna have to put these hands on you.
Yeah, that was the one moment in the entire campaign that Liam really started to have some crazy character level stuff, because he was basically if you don't, basically he tells them, you don't give that back to him, we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah,
basically he's like, if you don't give that back to him, I'm gonna take it from you.
That's exactly what he said, and it was so tense. It was so polite and it was so subtle and subdued, but it was so intense, bro. Yeah. So awkward. And Dorian's fluff. Dorian's like, I mean,
I like how he acted after that, though, because he did get indignant afterward. He's like, it's like, I haven't done anything for you to deserve that attitude from you and everything.
Role play.
Role play, exactly. And that's why he's my second favorite character in this entire campaign.
Wow, really? So Dariax and Dorian, huh?
Dariax,
you're
the double D's, man.
You're a Doriaxer?
Yeah,
the double D's.
Double D's.
Oh man, bro. Okay, I
like the fact that one of the new guys was really just getting heavy into the role play. It was awesome.
So talk about one of the new guys getting heavy into the role play. Fucking Opal, bro. For me, she was the star of this shit. And I know there's a lot of folks on the internet who don't like her and don't like the character and blah blah blah. And we saw the same thing with Keyleth in C1. Because when I'm going back and watching it, I'm looking at the comments and I'm seeing a lot of the stuff in there. It's the same type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it's something about, you know what I mean? These nerdy boys can't handle.
Some people just expect these characters to come out fully formed.
It's so bonkers. I don't understand it. What is a character arc, bro? It's role play, right? I understand there's and then there's the people who are mad that Opal's not the strongest warlock that they've ever seen. What are you talking about? Well, look at what is the beef here? You expect everybody to try and cheat, get a custom lineage and a feat, you feel what I'm saying, so that they can have 18, so they can have 20 charisma right out the gate? What are we talking about, bro?
That's what happens when you have min-maxers who's the important thing to them is the stats. It's not about it's power gamer. But the thing look at Matt's character. Matt's character, if he technically is probably the most powerful character in the game. But because of the way he rolled like shit through his entire campaign, he played into it. That was what was awesome about it. He's
so good.
All of these failed rolls are on point for who this character is. Because he's an idiot. He spent half the game completely oblivious.
Yo, I loved it.
Because that's who he is, and it's and that's why I always and that's why I tell people is dude, don't fudge your rolls. If you roll crap. Roll like crap, but play into it, because the GM will help you with that. He will build that with you. So, and that's one. And again, like I said, that's how you know that Matt's an amazing role player, because he was rolling like crap, but he still had so much fun.
Leaning all the way into it. I just loved it.
Being completely oblivious to everything. But and then we also then we also learn about Opal's sister Ted, her twin.
Yo, oh, such a cool idea. And it was like the slow reveal. Like obviously, those of us who understand how these things work, we knew what was up already. It was like, oh, well, Opal's dead. Or Ted's dead. Ted doesn't exist anywhere. Ted is the patron for her warlock power. That's what we're seeing. Obviously, so cool. Opal has no idea what that is, right? Yep. And that makes it even more cool because it's like, first of all, your twin sister is your patron. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah, it's just like, one, your sister's your patron. Two, basically her soul is inside of you.
Yo,
because that's how she created a contract with her sister by accident.
Yep.
Which is awesome. And then
bonkers.
And then like the whole thing where she's like she's like almost afraid to explain to her sister what happened.
Yeah.
So she's kind of deflecting like that whole argument where Opal almost dies.
Yeah.
Is basically Ted's trying to she's trying to get her to be to realize that she's not going to be there for her in physical form anymore. So she's trying to like, you need to be a better person and everything. But at the same time, Ted's struggling with the fact that she's afraid to tell her what's really going on. And that's when that whole thing happens. And she almost died. And then it's been like, okay, we got to talk this thing out.
Yo, it was so good, man. It was so good. Cause she literally was like, yo, when Abria said, sorry is a free action, bitch.
Dude, there were a lot of awesome like one-liners and shit, man.
Yo, the sass between them two the whole time was so good, man. So funny. But like this idea that Ted accidentally became Opal's warlock patron is such a bonkers idea, and they lean all the way into it because then there's some other crazy hoe named Murata who is out here trying to take her out of Opal and like turn her into What was the plan?
She was basically trying to turn Opal. She was trying to turn Ted. She was trying to turn Ted
into a patron.
Into a patron that was controlled by the warlock. Basically,
that's what it was.
She's gonna turn her into a power source.
Mm-hmm.
And a power source that she could control, and then other warlocks could tap into her as well.
Right, because that's what it seemed like. Because she was definitely like, you don't get to keep this for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? How do you even know about it? Like, I don't. Like, what was that?
Yeah, it was crazy. But it was like the whole thing. You took my power. I am your power, bitch.
Yeah.
It was, but the relationship the relationship between Ted and Opal is awesome.
And it's so good, and it feels so. It's a little bit. It feels a little bit exaggerated, but it also feels so real and honest because that's exactly how it sounds like when people who are very, very close and young talk to each other.
Siblings, yeah, siblings.
That's exactly what it's
about the dumbest shit.
And
they were literally they literally almost both died because neither one of them would say they were sorry.
Yeah.
So it's like, and how many times does that happen with like actual kids?
That was crazy.
But
I don't know how many times you almost died because you didn't say sorry, but like it certainly hasn't happened to me that much. That's a lot.
And then then we had the whole situation with Mr., which is probably the most interesting element of Fern's character.
Yeah. First of all, why the fuck is that okay? How do you just get to have an elemental like familiar companion?
Basically, yeah. It's
what was it? Just a pet?
It's I think the whole thing with the ash hole is still friggin' hilarious. And then the whole oh no plateau. That came Dorian, he came up with that, dude. I was like, all right, you're my new favorite person.
You're great. Yeah, the greatest.
He's like, I'm just gonna start chucking it towards this oh no plateau.
Right.
But that's another storyline that I think that's going to be explored later. Because and this is one of the few complaints that I had about it was usually session 0 you don't have major important elements of the story that are introduced in session 0. It's basically just for the characters to meet each other. But they had when they finally get to the Fire Shari, we find out that they had an encounter in that area of the Scar of the Cinder King, and that's when she reached in and to the fire plane and pulled him out.
Right. So So
because there's like a permanent.
I don't think that's
there.
a session. I don't think that's session 0 though, right?
Yeah,
because like what Critical Role seems to do is they have session 1 off screen. So it's like they have a session 0 where they figure stuff up, and then they have their level 1 off screen, and then they come in for level 2. That's what I've seen anyway, at least with Mighty Nine and with Exandria. That's exactly what they did here too. So it seems like that's a thing that they're that they want to do.
I kind of lump those two things together. My session 0 is basically where the characters meet, and then like you kind of figure out they kind of figure out that they're going to stay together.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something that happened off screen. But because it's an important element, we were all like really confused about what happened there. So
yeah. And then there's the missing week thing too. That was like a main. So it was like a weird situation, which is connected. We were all very confused in the beginning.
Yeah, and the missing week is connected to Futurai because she knows
she was there.
She was there. So basically, they're kind of almost repeating some of the stuff that has already happened between all of them. Because she tells him. She tells Dorian, I think you're going to make the right decision this time. So there's some kind of weird time thing going on here.
I don't know if it goes that deep. I just think that because because Dorian because with their relationship, she was watching him slip.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's like this weird time. Like people think there's like this weird time loop thing. I don't know if that's the case. I think she's watched him make a decision that was bad, and that maybe led to all of them or was a part of why they all missed a week, right? Because they somehow ended up in the Fey realm at one point. You know what I mean? That we didn't see any of that. So
Fern comes from the Feywild, so
right.
I do think it's time loop thinking because I think it's connected to the Observer.
Tell me more.
So when they go to the
Observer, who is Dariax's like sorcerer patron something or other, the Observer is taking a liking to Dariax.
Yeah, the Observer is the protector of the city. What is it called?
The magical city
near Dalpak.
Sure,
that's in the Ren, which is in the Renfin Mist Forest that they go to. And they meet I can't remember the one guy's name. The one leader, the 4 big leaders of that thing.
Yeah, the titty rack.
Yeah,
the titty rack. Shit was so funny, bro. Over and over again. Yeah, just hilarious.
but yeah, I think the Observer, and because they get accepted into the city and everything, and then Futurai, like I said, she knows them. I think that's got something to do with the Observer. I think the Observer kind of. I don't think it's so much reset time. I think the Observer reset them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they're missing that week. Because now, and here's the other thing. Dorian knows he remembers everything now, but he hasn't told anybody.
Wait, does he remember everything? Because I remember there was a conversation about him remembering stuff, but I don't think he remembered everything.
She says he remembers now. She said the week that you were lost, you got it back.
Mm-hmm.
So he remembers now, but he's completely played off the fact that he remembers. Because she told him that she told him she would talk to him off air about what he remembers.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember that. Yeah.
And Futurai, before they leave, he alludes to her that he remembers now. And so right before she left, he told her, he's like, I know that you're trying to protect us and everything. So that's another story thread that has to be explored, is still the missing week. And now there's 2 people that remember everything. So I think
that's nuts.
Yeah. I think that 100% is the Observer. Because the Observer is the only entity that they've run into that has the power to do something like that.
Right, but that I mean, it seems so, probably, and it makes sense because that's when he remembered all that, when he went back to see, right before seeing the Tetrarch, they saw the statue or whatever of the Observer, and that's when the Observer started talking to Dariax.
Yeah, well, the Observer talked to Dariax, and he became Dariax's protector and patron, but also
gave him wings.
When Dorian was walking around, and that voice was talking to him in his head, which is basically the Spider Queen that was messing with him.
Yeah.
No matter where he went, he could always see the Observer out of the corner of his eye.
Right.
The statue of the observer. So like even when he went down a street where it shouldn't be, for some reason he could still see it out of the corner of his eye. And when he pulled that spider thread out of his eye,
right,
he pulled out part of the Spider Queen's influence over him.
That shit was crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That shit is bonkers, man. The Spider Queen was really trying to come back. Like, she was really trying to find a way in. And I am terrified of what that might mean. Because Opal absolutely put that fucking crown on.
Yeah, and she
got
went,
a power up, got juiced.
Yeah, she went Super Saiyan. And even I love the way that she described that, how basically what happened is she and her sister have now like permanently merged.
Yeah.
And
she's like,
she took on some of her sister's appearance.
Right. Because, which was so dope. Like she kind of took down, but she also got like real opalescent hair.
Yeah, like
so
her hair,
you
like,
know, as opposed to like a dye
opalescent.
job. Yo, that shit was crazy, man.
Her skin got slightly darker. She actually got like, because her sister's like a little bigger and a little stronger. She got bigger and stronger, but also she got the black eyes.
Yep,
she got the black eyes, and the crown dug itself into her skull. So
she
now
tried to take it off and started bleeding.
Yeah, and then the Spider Queen was like, no, just keep it on for a while.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
And that's why like I love the fact that like even though they went to Gilmore for answers, and he did give them some answers, he's completely wrong about that thing not having any influence.
That was absolutely wrong. That was absolutely wrong. And I like Gilmore being wrong.
Yeah.
That is story right there, goddammit. Give me some shit to be revealed. I like it, man.
But then like what was it? What was the other thing that happened? We have what did you think about the way she was just like throwing out those gifts at the end? I felt like I felt that was a little too much.
So what do you mean by the gifts?
She was throwing out those the boons, like how everybody got these new powers and stuff out of nowhere.
Oh yeah,
like the one dude, the one that she gave friggin' Fern was freaking crazy powerful.
Yeah,
she could force any D20 roll every round. I'm like, holy shit, that's game breaking, man.
And Fern didn't even use it.
she didn't realize. I think she was just stunned by how powerful it was. That she was
she forgot about it. She completely got wrapped up in the story that was happening. Yeah. She completely forgot about it.
The first time she did, but then the second time she was like, she looked at Fern. She's like, yeah, somebody could stop that roll. She goes, wait, but I already used it. And she's like, you can use it again. She's like, oh, I can. She's like, holy shit. Yeah. I think she didn't use it because that's freaking like me. I'd be like, hell no, I ain't giving my player something like that. It's bad enough. It's bad enough that you got like someone like a grave cleric that can cancel 20s.
I liked it.
It was well. I think she did that because the end boss was so powerful.
Yeah,
it was way powerful. Because you got to remember, these guys are only like.
It made the fight more epic. Yeah. That fucking end boss. What did she? She did a spell. She did what the fuck? I think she did like a 4th level spell or a 3rd level spell.
She did
dispel magic like 5 times. I was like, hold on, bitch. First of all, how many spell slots do you have? How many fucking, like, what is this? She had a greater invisibility or something? No, that was a ring.
That was the ring.
She had, she was way too powerful for
she did.
And it made that fight so dope.
She did an inflict wounds on Dariax that just took him out like that.
Well, inflict wound is strongest shit on fucking inflict wound is just,
But she took him out with that. And I'm trying to remember like all the crazy spells that she did. She did some crazy shit.
She had a spell that was way too high.
Yeah.
I don't think it was counterspell though.
No.
Or did she counterspell? I think she did counterspell some shit.
She counterspelled like 3 times.
Yeah, it was counterspell. Yeah, that's the thing, right? She had a counterspell, bro. That's a level 5. Like that's.
She only used actual counterspell once.
Right.
The other counterspell she did was because of the spike that was in Opal's head.
Yeah, but she had counterspell though.
She did have counterspell
that she had access to.
Yeah, so that means she was at least level 9.
That's a 5th level spell. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's fucking crazy.
A level 9 bad guy. Plus she had the elven sorcerer that was helping, the elven archer, and then the elven sorcerer that was helping her.
Right.
So, and then plus they still had like half a golem to take care of.
Yo, and Ted's giant mountain head. Like what?
Head
that was
Bo.
such a crazy, bro. And the way how oh my,
it was a really crazy visual.
Absolutely bonkers, man.
That was some like Lovecraft shit.
I loved it. Yeah. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot, man.
And I like the fact that as the bad guy, I'm trying to remember what her damn name is again.
Murata
was like, as Ted, she was starting to link up with Ted, and she was like, no, and then the head goes, no.
Yeah. Because there was Ted was out of Opal, like half in, half out.
Yep.
In the mountain face, and Murata was tapping into the mountain face. So then Murata was doing this thing where she was talking and she was having Ted say things that Ted really wasn't saying, and Opal would hear Ted screaming inside her head and coming out of the mountain in a fucked up voice. Like, it was a very creepy. Like, I can't wait till the fucking Critical Role animator nerds on YouTube put those fucking scenes together, man. I am so excited to see what that's gonna look like, because my God, they are super they have a lot to work with. They have a lot there to like translate. But it's about 8:00, man. We've been doing this for we've been doing this for a while. It looks, we didn't even get into like the stuff that we really don't like about it, or what implications we did a little bit of what implications it may have moving forward and all that kind of stuff. But like, we really didn't even get into the stuff we don't like about it. You want to do it real quick, or we can leave it for like a part 2, and
we can leave it for
what
part
do you want to do?
We can leave it for part 2.
Yeah, let's.
But before we do, we can like when we talk about like the things that we didn't like about it, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Anybody that has the balls to put on the GM hat, I got mad props to, because that shit is it's tough. That's the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest thing to do in gaming, man. So, I think,
especially when you have everybody watching.
Oh my God, man. I wouldn't be, I'd lose my friggin' mind. And players as seasoned as people like Matt and Liam and Ashley and Liam. And that's one of the things, like, Liam is so detail oriented.
Like, when she made the joke about him, you take a thread, put it around your fingers,
she said, I take it, and then I whispered into the, you can reply to this message.
Yo, that was hilarious. That was hilarious, bro. That was hilarious. But, it was not. I think Liam looked like he had a lot of fun, just kind of being a part of a story that he mostly watched. You know, because I know he's big into the dark, heavy, and it's gonna be sad and dreary, and it's gonna be very emotional, and I'm gonna cry halfway through this speech. Like, that's his thing, right? After having watched both of the campaigns now, that's his thing. So to see him kind of just be like, I mean, we're gonna do some stuff, and
like we talked about, I think he did that deliberately, because I think he wanted to he's like, we got 3 new players. We've been doing this for 5 years. We got 3 new players. Let's let these people shine. And they did, man. I love Dorian. I loved Opal. Matt got to be the friggin' center of attention finally, and he did such a great job of it, man. His character was so
Tharla Star. Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Like, no, I'm lying.
Like, back to back. Yeah, dude. It's I want to see him as a player more, man. And they've got 2 one-shots coming up. One of them is going to be absolutely friggin' hilarious. Yeah, they have an Elder Scrolls one-shot coming up, right?
Yep.
They
have an
Blackwood or whatever, Black something.
Blackbriar, I think it was something like that.
No, I think it's Blackwood. I think it's
Blackwood.
I think it's Blackwood,
because that's the newest expansion. Yeah, so they've got part 2 of that, and then they have the Gale Force 5 one shot run by Marisha.
What is that?
Remember that promo they do, like the Grody to the max. The fake.
Wait. I think I do.
When Sam does his promos. Talks about like the It's Gale, the fake TV show, and Ashley Johnson. She's like,
because Ashley was a star of the fake TV show, the Gale Force. Okay, so they're doing a Gale Force 5.
Yes, that was part of. That was part of the Kickstarter campaign.
The announcements.
It was part of the Kickstarter campaign, and they said that if we get to this level, We'll do a one shot of Gale Force 5 because that was the fake movie that Gale was in, and they made
when
it
is
so.
That? All right, so this week, coming up on Thursday,
they're doing a recap for Exandria.
19th. Yeah, they're doing the EXU talk about roundtable or whatever, right? Yep. They're doing the EXU talk about, and then next week they're doing Blackwood, part 2 of the Blackwood one shot with different characters. I believe is going to be in it or something. Like different players are going to be in it or something like that.
I think it's the same character. I think it's some of the same characters, some different ones because
because I know Bria's coming back, which I'm gonna go watch because I didn't watch Black. I started watching it, but then I started watching campaign 1 or whatever. So I'm gonna go back and watch the Black with the first one because it started off pretty funny, but it because Sam's in it. Sam is so much fun. It's like he's always making a joke, and it's always great. But then when it's time to get serious, that son of a bitch, when he couldn't get the fucking wish spell off, when he was saving a spell slot for
Liam,
to save fucking Vax, bro, I was like, you fucking
dude. That and when Scanlan goes off on them when they resurrect him and his in front of his daughter, and he's like, what's my mother's name? You don't know anything.
It's an important part of my story. My whole character revolves around it. What's my mother's name?
You don't know.
And then just left.
You've never cared
and then just
about
left.
Me. Yeah. It's when Sam needs to dial up the drama,
he does it.
And like unlike when Not was like finally telling her story, she's like, I wasn't Veth anymore. I was nothing.
I was not.
Yeah. But I think they got another they're gonna be playing the video game again. Liam and
the twins.
Yeah.
Laura
Laura Bailey, she's a freaking treasure.
Then they got the greatest role players I think I've ever seen. Just one, awesome. Always in character. It's so good.
The Elder Scrolls one shot is August 19th, Thursday, August 19th. And then this coming week, the 19th is the Elder Scrolls one shot, and then next week, the 26th, is the Exandria wrap up.
Oh, so that's how they're doing it. Okay, well, whatever, guys. You can go check out Crit Roll scheduling, blah blah blah, online. Mm-hmm. We're not here to do that, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't fucking know what's going on. I'm just gonna tune in when I tune in. But just to wrap up here. We'll get into other stuff. We're gonna have to figure out what the fuck we're gonna talk about next week then, because like we're gonna have to talk about the stuff we don't like. You know what we'll do next week? We'll talk about the stuff we don't like and how everybody on the internet is dumb for talking all that shit that they were talking the whole time. I watched a lot of it. I didn't watch it live, but I watched the reruns on Twitch so I could see the chat. People were in the fucking chat like just being dicks. It's the weirdest. You're playing tag wrong. It's how it sounds to me. Like it's just the weirdest thing. Like, okay, so then go do the thing that you want to do the way you want to do it. Then, like it's not like there's no. But anyway, that's what we could do. We can talk about the stuff we didn't like and how all of those motherfuckers are idiots, and then we'll figure out what we're gonna do moving forward.
Cool.
But just to wrap up tonight, how did you feel about Exandria Unlimited, the campaign? Do you think it was a win? Are you excited about what it means for the future?
Overall, I thought I enjoyed it. I thought, like I said, there's some really great characters in there. There's some really cool story threads that they could do going forward. And then we'll talk about like the things that we want for it from the future and everything. But I thought, considering like this was basically a big experiment.
Yeah, and
considering that,
I think it was super successful.
Yeah, I think they did a great job, and I'm 100% behind seeing Matt as a player more. It's so freaking good, man.
Yo,
I enjoy it. The most important thing is I enjoyed
behind
it.
seeing Matt as a player more.
Yeah,
like 200-300%, like desperately needed. I've been playing with this idea, right? Where I don't know if I could ever find a DM who will be with it, but like we get maybe a bunch of DMs who never get to play, right? We get a bunch of DMs together, run a campaign, and then and then a bunch of times throughout the campaign, like not everything, but like maybe every 5 or 6 sessions. We switch for like a one shot or something, or we switch for like a short, like you rotate. You feel what I'm saying? And have a new DM for like a short adventure, and then get back to the main story, or just keep doing short adventures like that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But like just have it so that the DM gets to play every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? And maybe even grow a character. Maybe there's a recurring character that DM plays specifically when it's not their turn to DM. I don't know, but I think there's a way to do that would be really interesting. But that's not what we're here to talk about, man. So how I feel about Exandria Unlimited, super fire. I loved it. I loved Abria as a DM. I want to go and find some more of her stuff. She's doing something with Dimension 20.
Yep.
I believe is like
she did a
Magic and Misfits.
Yeah, she did a couple things with them, and then I think she did there was I can't remember the name of the thing she did. She's done DMing online like 5 or 6 times.
That doesn't sound good. She's been doing this thing for a while.
She's got a great attitude too, so
she's just so much fun, man. And I like as much as the immersion is important to me, I like the references to the real world shit, right? Because at the end of the day, it's friends sitting around a table having fun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And as much as I love Matt Mercer's like kind of, I tell you the story that you want to tell. Like I tell you the things you need to know. I set up the scene for you. It's very serious. And then for the most part, I'm silent while you're doing the thing. You guys are doing the thing. I'm just watching, waiting for when I need to interject, you know, waiting for when you need something from me. I love that laid back kind of like stepping out of the spotlight play style. And Abria is very much in the spotlight. And I loved her doing that just as much. So I'm really
of the
excited
nature,
to see what they do.
Because of the nature of this and it being a shorter thing like that, there were times when she had to put it on rails.
Yeah, she had to push, and we'll talk. We'll do that next week, man. But right now, folks, we appreciate any of y'all tuning in after the fact. We appreciate all of y'all here with us live. We're gonna be doing this every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Critical Convos, man, where we're gonna dig into this D&D stuff. And right now, it started with Exandria Unlimited, but it'll probably grow into some other things. We'll see what happens, man. Thank you for spending this time with us. I'm Yellow Does It. Tell them where they can find you at, Bob.
You can find me at Comicbook Bob on YouTube, Twitch, and everywhere, Facebook and Twitter. And is it Thursday yet?
Word. Is it Monday yet?
Is it Monday yet? You think that we're in trouble if we steal it?
Yeah, I took too much.
How do you want to do this?
Much already. Oh man, but guys, here's the thing that I recently learned about time. All right, time is one of our most precious and valuable resources, and the fact that any of you would decide to come and spend your time here with me is greatly appreciated, and I promise you I will never take it for granted. With that said, the only thing that I ever want you to take away from the time that we have together, the only thing that I ever want you to leave my stream with is peace.